Hey there, YouTubers. JB Coins with another what looks like routine $500 box of quarters, but this is something Camera Girl and I took an opportunity. We happened to be traveling this past weekend, about 8 hours away from where we live, and we were out of town, and I said, what do you think about getting a box of pennies while we're here? And I figured the answer would be no, we're here to do certain things. Instead I got, well, how about a box of quarters and a box of pennies? So you'll see the pennies later. But this is a $500 box of quarters from a far enough distance away that it should be a completely different armored car service, circulation that we've talked about before, circulation patterns within a community. This is a completely different part of the country. So no more delaying here. We'll rip this open because we're, ever since we put this in the car a couple days ago, we've been wondering what we were going to find. So, oops, sorry. Flip it around so I don't stab myself here. That's why. There we go. Okay. Box doesn't even open the way it used to. Interesting. So, they're nice shiny rolls. Let's see what we got. We've got a mix. There's Mariana's there. Wyoming. Got a few more out here. So obviously these are circulated. That one's got some wear on it. $1968. Missed it by a little bit. 72. So, like we usually do in a lot of our videos here, we're going to go ahead and try and tear these open. This is an unusual box. I've never, I don't think I've ever opened a box like this when we've been shooting these videos. So like I said, completely, didn't mean to do that. Completely different, there's a real grungy Colorado. Completely different style of box, different market. Don't see any obvious silver. There's a nice shiny one right there. Looks kind of pretty on the front. It's a P. And it's a Great Sand Dunes. 2014. Pretty nice shape too. Got full rays on it. Nope. I'm going to tear through a couple more of these real quick. Just for grins and giggles. But you know, this is the kind of thing that, you know, just on the spur of the moment, it was like, hey, let's try and see if there's any better luck or difference between here and there. And we won't know till we get through the box. Here's another extremely shiny one. We got a real grody one there too. That's a P. It's a little scruffy looking. That's a 2015 Kasachi. I'll set it aside later to look at. Actually, these two are right next to each other. That's a States. Colorado, it's just real, or New Mexico, it's just real grungy. This is a Fort McHenry. It's not in that great shape either. One more, and then we're going to go to the box, and if we see anything really cool, we'll stop and show it to you. But figured we'd do a couple of these just to let you guys share. Uh-oh, we got something here. It may just be filthy. It's an old style quarter. That's an 88. That Oreo cookie is a 1988. Another really shiny one in here. Front looks good. Wow, that's a 2007 Wyoming. I don't see the error on it. This is one of them that we've talked about in our error videos, that where the cowboy's hand get this right angle. There we go. Where the cowboy's hand comes down and is grabbing the horn of the, well, where the horn of the saddle would be. There's a circle there, like the crook of your hand. And if there's any metal in that area, then that's an error coin. And the nice thing about this is it's such a crisp detail and simple detail to it that it's a very easy one to see if it's there. So we're gonna open up some rolls, and if we see anything cool, we'll get back to you. Okay guys, check this out. I'm sitting here sorting through the pile that I had laid out, and I get almost to the bottom, and staring at me is a 46. Obviously not in great shape, but it's silver. How that got by me when I did the edge look at them, I have no idea, but that's a silver quarter. So catch you at the wrap. Okay, YouTubers, it's the wrap, and this box has been even more interesting than I was hoping it would be. As I said at the beginning, we got this while we were out of town, about 8 hours away from here by car. Excuse me. And what triggered this was Camera Girl and I were getting change for the different purchases we were making up there, and we were both commenting on how beautiful the change was. I mean, old coins, nice condition. All the change was nice and clean and good, just nicer change than what we're used to getting here. And it caught our eye, and I mentioned a penny box, and she upped the ante and said, let's get a quarter box. As usual, Camera Girl was right, and you'll see why as we go through this. I'm going to start off as a quick refresher to you guys, and we're going to do this, like I said, it's going to be a quick refresher. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so we can get some, there we go, some definition. We'll start over here on the left. There we go. These are the error coins that we want to look for. Some of them, not all of them. It's a 1999 Delaware. There's the first coin that was issued, and the error that we've shown in other videos is the known error is between the horse's mouth and the word Caesar. There was a die crack on some of the coins. Here, the next coin over is Oregon, and it shows Great Crater Lake. And as these ridges come down to the water, some of them extend beyond that crisp edge of the water line, and plus there's some extra foliage in these trees. 2004, the Wisconsin quarter. Some of the ears of corn had extra leaves down here and in other locations. They have a low leaf, a high leaf. Minnesota, extra trees appearing in this gap here, sometimes even above the gap. Wyoming, the cowboy, as we mentioned at the beginning, I believe, here where his stirrup is, you can see the crispness of the detail there. If there was any extra metal, like resembling the end of his lariat here, that was down in that area, that would be an error. And lastly, what we've got here on the table is a 2009 Duke Ellington sitting at the piano, and it's got his name on it. It's got him leaning against the keys. The letters bleed down onto the keys, and the keys bleed down off the front of the piano. Those are some of the known errors. Okay, so then the next category we wanted to show you was what we found in the way of errors. The first one is a 91, and you can see very clearly that the top edge or northern edge of the coin is very fat, especially relative to the bottom edge, which is, you know, paper thin. And then that's a 91D. Next to it is a Delaware. Well, we don't have a spitting horse, but we do have an offset to the northeast, so it's thin up here, and we have a slightly doubled edge down here. This coin's going to be a little harder to, the next two are a little harder to photograph. This is a 2008 New Mexico, and the problem with this one is it has, if I can get it to do it, I'll show you. It's got the finish you can see it right there when I move the screwdriver. There's a rippled edge finish to that background, kind of like waves on a pond. It shouldn't be that way. Washington, I have the same thing in this general area here, a lot of rippling, and almost the beginnings of a delamination down here. But again, I checked with the camera, they don't show up that well. So that's the first batch of goodies. Now I'm going to try and zoom back out. There we go. And show you, well, I guess I got to zoom back in a little bit. If I can do it, there we go. These are what we call the specimen coins, the collection coins. That's a 1994D. The camera's not doing it justice. Look at the reflection on this thing. It's bright as can be. Next to it is a 2005 Minnesota, which could have been an error coin, but it's not. That's in AU condition. Next to it's a 2015 Homestead. So you can see how much brighter this one is than the 2015 even. Next to it is another 2005 Oregon, which could also be one of those error coins we talked about. Down here we've got a 2006 Nevada that's really, really bright. Below that is a 2009 American Samoa, which is, those were hard. I mean, those were hard to get when I was setting up the collection again. Very low mintage. 2006 North Dakota. Really nice shape with a slight bit of patina, but really shiny. All told, I can zoom back out. All told, we've got about 32 coins from 1994 to 2015 in that pile there that are AU or better, which is just amazing. Again, it goes to the quality of the change that was in that area. Which is why we decided to try and buy a box. Then above that, we have 5 Bicentennial Quarters, which the Bicentennial dollars we can't get rid of, but the Bicentennial Quarters are a lot harder to find, especially in this nice a shape. And we found 5 of them. And you know, they're in different conditions and all that. The one on the far right is probably the nicest one. But again, really unusual to find 5 Bicentennial Quarters. There was actually a couple more, 2 or 3 more, but they were in a little rougher condition. But I usually don't even see them in a box that often. And then we've talked about, you know, every once in a while you get the oddball. Well, here's the oddball. This is Balboa on the front. This is a 1981 República de Panama. Not sure the denomination, didn't look it up yet. But that's kind of a cool coin, and it's in really nice shape. The detail on it is amazing. You can see his the collar around his neck, the detail on it. I'm going to zoom in because it is a cool thing in terms of detail, and if you're a coin collector. I mean, look at the detail on that thing, the crispness, the level of, you know, his neck, the strap on around his chin. You can see the hairs on his goatee. You can see the detail of his armor. It's just a really neat coin in really, really, really nice shape. And the coat of arms, you can actually see a little more detail than what's showing up here. Well, no, you can see it. You can see the different inside of the shield here, even in pieces of 8. These indicate the categories of territory owned by the kingdom. So that was kind of cool. But we saved the best for last. You saw one of them on live on come out of the roll. It was a 46. But as I've mentioned before, sometimes I miss these. This one I didn't see on the edge. I found it sorting through by hand. Well, same thing happened with this one. I was sorting through by hand, and what I saw was that, and I thought, wow, that's a really nice eagle back there. And I flipped it over and saw the date, and then I realized it was a 64D, and the 64D is, you know, almost AU condition. Obviously, the one on the left is, you know, it's silver content. But you know, from one box, this is probably the coolest haul we've had in quite a long time on quarters. And so I'd say that this is definitely a success. This is definitely a place that we would like to get more from if we do another trip that way, or if the folks we went up there to see come down to visit us. Hope you guys like this video. We kind of covered a bunch of different bases for you here. We got a little bit of everything. Till next time, please continue to like, share, you know, subscribe. We're really doing well. We appreciate it. And your comments are awesome. So thanks, and good luck hunting. JB Coins signing off.